We've just passed through the Easter season. We remember the time of Jesus' death and his resurrection. And there's one little piece of the story that is often overlooked that we don't think about very much, is a part played by a man named Simon of Cyrene. We don't know much about him. We know he is the father of Rufus and Alexander. This morning we're going to assume that Rufus and Alexander are small children for the purpose of this. And he was the man who was forced to carry the cross of Jesus. He was coming to Jerusalem to celebrate the Passover. And one of the things at the Passover that we need to understand here is that the people would bring a lamb to sacrifice in memory of historically when a lamb was sacrificed way back in Egypt in place of the firstborn children. So anyway, they're bringing a lamb into Jerusalem. He's kind of there with two small children, and this is his story of the events of that day as he might have told it. Walking on the road to Jerusalem that day, the time had come to sacrifice again. My two small sons, they walked beside me on the road. The reason that they came was to watch the lamb. Daddy, what will we see there today? There's so much that we don't understand. So I told them of Moses and Father Abraham, and I said, dear children, watch the lamb. There will be so many in Jerusalem today. We must be sure the lamb doesn't run away. And I told them of Moses and Father Abraham, and I said, dear children, watch the lamb. There will be so many in Jerusalem today. We must be sure that lamb doesn't run away. Well, we walked into the city, and I knew something must be wrong. There were no joyful worshipers, no joyful worship songs. I stood there with my children in the midst of angry men, and then I heard the crowd cry out, crucify him! We tried to leave the city, but we could not get away. Forced to play in this drama, a part I did not wish to play. Why, on this day, were men condemned to die? And why were we still standing there, where soon they would pass by? And someone said, and then we saw them come. The first one cried for mercy. The people gave him none. The second one was violent. He was arrogant and loud. I still can see and hear his angry voice screaming at the crowd. Then someone said, there's Jesus. I could scarce believe my eyes. A man so badly beaten, he barely looked alive. Blood poured down his body from the thorns pressed on his brow, running down the cross and falling to the ground. In that moment, I felt such agony. In that moment, I felt such loss. And then until a Roman soldier grabbed my arm and screamed, you! Carry his cross. At first, I tried to resist him, but his hand reached for his sword, and so I knelt and took the cross from my Lord. I placed it on my shoulder and started down the street. The blood that he'd been shedding was running down my cheek. They led us to Golgotha. They drove nails deep in his feet and hands. And yet from the cross, I heard him say, Father, forgive them. Never have I seen such love in any other hands. Into thy hands I commit my spirit, he prayed. And he died. I stood for what seemed like years. I lost all track of time until I felt two tiny hands really tied to mine. My children stood there weeping. I heard the oldest say, Father, please forgive us. The lamb ran away. Daddy, what I see here? There's so much that we don't understand. So I took them in my arms, and we turned and faced the cross. And then I said, Dear children, watch the lamp.